What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. If you are new here, please be sure to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. So today, I'm just going to be going over the best recording settings that you guys can use to make your games look crystal clear whenever you're recording for YouTube. So first things first, let's make sure your game quality is good, because the last thing you want is for your actual game to be bad, because you can at least, the better your gameplay is, the more people are going to watch it. I can't really talk because I suck at the game, as you guys can see. Yeah, but you want to make sure that your game can be as smooth as possible, and that includes your ping, your region, all that. So the first thing first is, if you're near a Wi-Fi router, go ahead and get an Ethernet cable and plug it straight into the back of it. Immediately going to make your thing better, and you can even have replays. But let's say you're like me and you literally have the worst Wi-Fi in the planet. We're paying for 10 megabytes per second. Yeah. If you're like me and have this really crappy Wi-Fi, which is why I suck, you're going to go into your settings, and you're going to go over to the game settings, and scroll all the way down until you find replay settings, and make sure that is switched to off. That is because this kind of replay is not just recording your perspective like a video. This is literally taking every single 3D model of the entire game and recreating it. That's how I was able to do the Fortnite cinematic, was because I was able to have the entire game recorded, and I was able to do those cool camera shots because it's an entire 3D model system. So turn that off, too, and that smooths up your game incredibly. Now go back up to the top and just make sure your region is the region with the lowest amount of ping. Just go ahead and click auto, but see, like, I couldn't do Middle East because that's 247. But 46 is good. That is what I want. I don't want my language changed. Okay, we're good. So now that you have all that, and make sure your settings are all good, now it's actually time for your recording settings. So make sure you are whenever you are playing a shooter game specifically, or any game for that matter, shoot at 60 frames per second. I don't care if it's 720 pixels. I don't care if it's any lower pixels. You need to shoot at 60 frames a second. Okay, for reference, this is 720 pixels at 60 frames per second. See, when I'm running, it looks super crystal clear. And for reference, this is 1080 pixels at 30 frames a second. You can see it's kind of choppy. I'll put them up side by side so you guys can see how they look, and you guys decide what you think is proper. But it should be the 720, but it is also up to you. You might be forming in a platform that you're like putting it out to a platform that only does 30 frames a second, in which, if that's the best you can do, then yeah, you're gonna want to do 1080, because what you really would want to do is do the 1080 at 60 frames a second, but I don't have that. My capture card's not that good, and I didn't want to pay for anything higher. Plus, there was nothing higher at the option that I needed. So I am just get what you need for your project. But I highly suggest 720 at 60, because that is what a lot of gamers will post at. The next thing I need to talk about is your sound settings and your microphone. And this was the hardest thing by far for me to get right for my recording, and I still don't have it perfect. Whenever you're recording, especially for YouTube, your voice needs to be the most prominent thing coming out, especially in these commentating videos, because the whole point is to pass information, and if they can't hear you, you have not passed any information. All you've passed is some weird muttering and some very loud shooting. which is what a lot of my videos were in the beginning, and I wouldn't notice, and then I would come back and they were all just messed up, and I was be kind of mad about it. But so specifically for Fortnite, I have my sound settings set to the music at 20%, chat at 50, and the main at 60, because I still want people to be able to hear gunshots and all that around me. I have that about the same level as my voice. Now, if you're on Xbox, here's how you make your microphone really loud if it's crappy like mine. Go to your settings. Go to volume and audio output. Go to additional options. And change volume with voice by however many you need. I have mine at 10 steps and it's still rather quiet. So, it's whatever works for you. But yeah, mine needed 10 steps because it was bad. Now the next thing to talk about is capture cards for Xbox. So, capture cards are something that take in input through an HDMI and either output them through another HDMI to a computer, or they go straight to a USB recording device. I use a USB recording device because I don't have a computer downstairs. So I was limited. I couldn't get a 4K one, but it's also really used for getting your microphone input in there, because it makes it hard to do it all in OBS, and there was 2 snipers in there. So I will link the capture card I'm using in the description below. Honestly, it captures my gameplay better than I actually see my gameplay, because I have a 1080 by 60 project, or 1080 pixels at 60 hertz, but frames per second is basically the same thing as hertz. The difference is frames per second for video, and hertz is how fast your monitor or projector or whatever is processing that gameplay. So like how the refresh rate, if you will. So that's really the difference between them two. So I have a 60 hertz projector, but we have a bumpy wall. Or I have a 60 hertz projector and I have a 1080p, but it's probably coming out like 540 because we have a bumpy wall. We painted it, but it's bumpy still. So that's it looks amazing on my capture card. So I highly suggest it. And then with my headset, I'm using the Elgato Chat Link. It plugs into your headphones and then plugs into your controller and then out to the capture card. And then I have a bunch of these 16 gigabyte USBs. One second, let me third party this. Is he? Okay. I have 4 16 gigabyte flash drives that I use to record all my footage. And most of like a few hour footage will be like 10 gigabytes. So I'll have several on you, but be sure to clear them off whenever you I was using the stupid board. The last thing I would like to talk about is your mic placement. When my mic hangs down here, you really can't hear me. When my mic hangs up here, all you can hear is the wind coming out of my mouth. I have a cord mic, so it's not like sticking out of the headset at all. But what I've done is I actually take my cord, and it goes down my right ear. And I'm going to take that, and I'm going to loop the other side of the cord around my left ear and put the other headphone on. It's pretty comfortable. It really captures good audio, but I also have a split screen taped to my mic. It kind of helps sometimes. It sounds decent, though. It sounds better than it was. So that's my process. You do what you need to do, though. If you have a nice headset, go ahead. If you need to tape your mic to the side of your head, go ahead. This tutorial is just to help you look a little bit more professional. Not that I'm a professional, but helps you look and mimic it and fake it, because the sooner you can start having higher quality content, the sooner you're going to get a ton more subscribers. So just to refresh, make sure your settings are good and optimized for your gameplay. Make sure you're recording at a good frame rate to capture all your crisp 90s that you be cranking. Be sure that your audio is at a good setting and that your mic volume is good. Make sure you have good equipment like capture cards and microphones and USB flash drives and a computer if you need those. And make sure your mic placement is perfect. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching.